When Amy and Issun went into Waoku's shrine, immediately being greeted by two huge cannon in front of the entrance, by slowing the time, they managed to avoid and destroy the cannons. Finally, they have arrived inside the shrine. Since everything is frozen solid and the gate is locked, so Amy and Issun continue their way into the shrine, solve mechanic puzzles, got the key, opened the gate, going up to higher floor by getting through dangerous mechanics, jump across the grinders, fight enemy, and reach to the top where a giant machine is producing harsh cold blizzard to Kamui. When Emi and Issun are trying to solve the puzzle, they saw a crack, used cherry bomb to blast it, and saw the hint of stopping the blizzard machine. By blowing away the pile of leaves, the hint reveals the exact placement of the dial plates. Immediately, Amy and Issun uses the brush power to slow down the time, use cut power to move the handle, and make the plates turn into the right position. After stopping the blizzard from the machine, Kamui turns back to normal. Slowly, the wind pouch floats up to the night sky, reveals the shiny stars. With Amy's brush, Itegami appears. Amy finally got the final brush technique and able to obtain solar flare. After getting the ice power, Amy tested on the flame spider, use it as platform to go back where they came from. Once Amy and Issun went back to the shrine, they continued to get through more platforms, dangerous mechanics, even more heavily guarded obstacles, and finally arrive at the top of the shrine. When Amy and Issun run up to the top, Neku appears and attacks them with sharp icicles. Of course, Amy able to jump away from the attack and ready have a fight with Neku. Oddly enough, Neku flies away and look at a different direction. As soon as Amy and Issun discovered the past Amy has appeared, they were shocked and wonder why the past Amy is here. In the same time, while Neku unleashed ice attack towards the past Amy, she able to reflect the attack back to Neku and cause Neku some damages. With the great howl from past Amy, Amy realized this is the time to have a battle against Neku and let out the same howl. Together as the past and future, the battle begins. When both Amy's defeated Neku, suddenly Leku burst out from the side, so Oki is slashing Leku's head and fell down from its head. Without wasting any time, Oki transforms, gets away from past Amy's warning, jumps up to attack, but in an instant, the dual enemies stop the time and ready to attack. In the nick of time, past Amy able to break free from the curse, saves Oki from the attack, but end up being hurt by one of the dual enemies. When the time turns back to normal, past Amy is heavily wounded and almost fell down from the edge. Amy saw it and quickly runs to grab her past self in order to save her. Meanwhile, Oki sees this as a chance since the dual enemies are not doing well after the past Amy's attack. While Oki is looking at two critical choices, suddenly the statue is starting to crumble down. In the end, Oki chooses to save both Amy's and temporarily let the dual enemies fled away. As they helplessly look at the dual enemies fly away, Isshin saw Kotone lights up, and Oki finally realized with the heart of gold can only activates Kotone's true power. Of course, Isshin quickly reminds Oki to stay focused on defeating the dual enemies so he can save Kamui before solar eclipse arrives. After the intense battle, Amy picks up the fallen gear, talks to Oki, and descends to the shrine lower floor. Once the elevator stops, Oki decided to stay with past Amy for a while to help her recover from the wound and slash away enemies around the shrine. Even though Isshin worries about Oki but agrees with him and continue their way to find the dual enemies. By putting the gear on the locked gate, Amy and Isshin able to get past the gate and arrive at the place that is full with cannons. Amy uses ice power to form a bridge, jump across the ice bridge, destroy the cannons, fight a Tengu, melt the ice to get the ice orb, and use wind brush to push the ice orb into the flaming grinder room. Getting through the flaming grinder room by quickly getting the key and open the gate, Amy and Isshin join Oki again at the clock-like elevator. Also, Oki mentions about another Ponko, which is the young Ishaku, appears. How the past Amy regains energy again when young Ishaku is here, and Oki knew they will be okay as they are a great team, so Oki able to wait for Amy and Isshin at the clock-like elevator. Since Amy and Isshin are here, Oki is ready for the fight. After Amy agrees to fight alongside Oki, the clock-like elevator goes up and finally have the epic battle with the dual enemies. As the battle ended, narrator speaks again, where the dual enemies have defeated by Emi and Oki turns into petals and disappeared along with the wind. However, swarm of black clouds that include the previous boss enemies emerge and flow towards the Ark of Yamato. While looking at Laochi Lake, ominous words echo within Amy's heart, knew it is the time to face the threat of the darkness. Meanwhile, Amy, Isshin, and Oki went back to find the past Amy, still heavily wounded, exhausted laying on the ground. When the past Amy noticed Kotone shines in silver light, she knew she had fulfilled her role, slowly stands up, and walks back into her own timeline. At this moment, Amy and Isshin realize the timeline that the past Amy heads into is the time where she needs to face Orochi again and save Nagi from death. Just like the legend, the past Amy would be a hero and also the beginning of the Orochi legend. Before the time gate disappears, Isshin able to catch a glimpse of young Ishaku's heavy heart as the gate closes. When the battle ends with the farewell of the past Amy, Amy receives a sun fragment as reward and a howl with Oki. After Amy, Isshin and Oki have returned back to Ezofuji, they saw Rika pray intently and the storm slowly subsided. In the same time, the twin volcanoes have erupted as if to celebrate the victory for Kamui, as well as the villagers burst into tears of joy when they finally can feel the warmth given from the twin volcanoes. However, Oki still feels bad for taking Kotone away from Kamui without permission, but then Samiko comes up to Oki, have handshakes together as to signify Webcure once again safe, and grew stronger to keep enemies away. Finally, with Oki's own hands, Kotone able to return to the altar. As the silver light shines bright, no evil will dare to come near. But at that moment, Kotone's silver light suddenly shines bright upon the Ark of Yamato, broke the ice from Laochi Lake, and activates the Fallen Iron Ark. After the Ark has restored, Amy decided to get inside and ready face the dangers within the Ark. Suddenly, Isshin stops Amy, tells her that Ark of Yamato is notorious for having evil beings, and once Amy gets inside, there will be no turning back. But Amy has determined to go in, wants to end this once and for all, so Isshin accepts Amy's choice and continue the path to the Ark. Once Amy and Isshin have arrived in front of the Ark entrance, Isshin started to talk about previous adventures and made Amy confused about Isshin's words. Soon, Isshin had to say goodbye to Amy since this is the end of their journey. Even though Amy wants Isshin to be with her, but Isshin insists that they can't be together again, told Amy that he just wants to steal all the brush techniques so he can have fun with them all, and say goodbye to Amy. Of course, Amy doesn't want Isshin to leave, so she runs towards Isshin, but Isshin explains that they are from different worlds, since Amy has her own role to fulfill, so Isshin can't follow her into the Ark. With Amy's sad bark, Isshin understands how she feels, but Isshin still insists he has to leave. When Amy tries to catch up with Isshin, he angrily pulls out his sword, tries to shoo her away, and waves his sword towards Amy. Suddenly, Waka appears, agrees with Isshin's way, and rejoices about the Ark is finally opened up again after over 200 years. Well, Isshin doesn't buy it and decided to leave Amy and Waka. By taunting Isshin with the legend of Ark, Isshin thought Waka is making fun of him and tries to get into the Ark, but unfortunately what Waka has said is true. Slowly, the rainbow bridge disappears. Amy quickly jumps to the entrance while Isshin falls down to the lake. When Amy turns back and anxiously barks at Isshin, Waka also came down to the entrance and shouted at Isshin about another prophecy which ends with a tango. As soon as last prophecy given to Isshin, Waka also told Isshin about life lessons that he needs to remember, which is a big hint as well for having a chance to get into the Ark. With all that being said, Waka walks into the Ark while telling Amy to be ready for the final fight. Unwilling to say goodbye to Isshin, Amy let out a cry and even tried to jump up when the door is closing. Once Amy is inside the Ark of Yamato, ominous symbols are glowing within the Ark. One by one, Amy able to vanquish the boss enemies while getting big hints from the celestial spirits, where they told Amy how happy to see her again. The tragedy of the Ark, built by Moon Tribe, has led to disaster in this world. Orochi's sudden attack as Celestial Plane caused the Celestials fled to the Ark as a rescue boat, but end up being slain by monsters. Thinks this incident might be predicted by the Moon Tribe. Save Waka from the attack, Amy must return to Celestial Plane in order to exorcise evil. The backstory of Amy waited Nagi as the chosen one to defeat Orochi, but unfortunately, Orochi able to lure Susanoo for its revival and cause chaos in this world. Before the Celestials have their final rest, they express their gratitude toward Amy and hope Amy able to demolish the roots of evil. When Amy has arrived at the top floor, she saw Waka is attacking a huge unknown ball and it has deflected Waka's sword out of the battlefield. Soon, Waka realized Amy is here, told Amy about the old times when they fight against Orochi, and Yami is behind all the source of evil and chaos. Suddenly, the whole arc is shaking intensely. In the same time, the solar eclipse also covers up the sun as Yami begins to transform, steals Amy's brush powers away to enhance its dark power. Unfortunately, Amy has no power left and turns into a normal white wolf. When Yami reveals its core, the true form, a seal, and let out a flash cannon to destroy Amy. At this moment, Waka quickly shielded and protect powerless Amy, also reveals the truth where Waka actually introduced the Ark to the Celestials, but didn't realize the evil sneakily lurked into the Ark and made Waka regrets his own decisions. With all Waka's might, he able to protect Amy but end up being blasted away his hat, reveals he is from the Moon Tribe, while he told Amy about the prophecy for the Chosen One, and Amy chooses to wait patiently around the mortals for the chance of defeat Orochi by Nagi. Despite Waka is from the accursed Moon Tribe, Amy still believes in him and earns his trust to Amy when they are facing Orochis in the old times. With Waka's last dance, while telling Amy to stay alive, Yami shoots another flash cannon and blasts away Waka from the battlefield. Slowly, Amy stands up and being determined to save the world from chaos, Amy perks up and face to face with Yami. After the fight, the memories of Isshin appears on Amy's nose, decided to let out a victory howl, but then she realized how she missed Isshin so much and made a lonely howl for Isshin. Suddenly, Yami sneakily attacks Amy, destroyed Amy's brush techniques and made her powerless again. Just then, different voices from the land echoed around Amy. As Amy slowly listens to those voices, she's able to regain her senses. Meanwhile, the people from all different places started to realize Amy is the sun goddess herself, while Isshin finally became the celestial envoy while spreading the message all over the land to help Amy. As soon as Isshin talks about Amy, everyone's starting to pray wholeheartedly and hope the prayers can be delivered to Amy. When the prayers have gathered around Amy, one by one, the powers flow into Amy, restored all the brush techniques. Finally, Amy become the glorious sun goddess and have a final battle with Yami. When the battle ends, Yami has defeated and sealed back into the darkness. As the battle won, Amy let out a victory howl to celebrate the success from the battle. Later on, Waka appears with the Moon Tribe airship, while Amy happily greeted him as he is still alive. While Waka is praising Isshin for his great work, Amy immediately jumps to Waka and hugs him. Of course, for Amy and Waka's final stop, Celestial Plane, Waka activates the arc and went full speed ahead. Meanwhile, Isshin and Sakuya are looking at the arc high up above the cherry blossom tree. In the same time, Isshin also decided to make his own path to get to the Celestial Plane as a promise to Amy. As a big hint where Waka is holding a guardian sapling, the arc quickly teleports to the Celestial Plane. It also indicates a new era begins.